This is a special edition of Your Marketplace. We're in a new normal. Will this be our future? Or this? What can Canada learn from Taiwan?
These are pictures from our grocery stores here. Did it ever look like that in your stores?
No, renting of food. We don't need to worry.
Back at home,
Excuse me.
panic buying.
No hand sanitizer, no masks.
There's no restocking going on.
You have to have a limit of how much you have to take.
Could the big chains be doing more to stock up and stop the panic?
That when it comes to supply chains, that there is no shortage.
They'd be shocked to hear that there's no shortage.
And the big cost of doing the right thing.
My request to Air Canada Vacations is please return the money.
Bring back the basic fare for Canadians who absolutely must travel for work.
Getting answers on Your Marketplace.
As COVID cases rise in Canada, so does worry. The goal, to avoid what's happening in Italy, rapid spread of COVID-19 and total lockdown. Will this be our new normal, stuck in our homes for weeks? Or 10,000 kilometers away, could this be our near future? Inside Taiwan, we're following the Lin family. Masks are everywhere, and only 20 cents each. And a daily ritual before school, taking your child's temperature. 4 a.m. here in Toronto, really early, but we got to call the opposite side of the world, Taiwan, to find out what life is like there during the pandemic. Hi, Lily, I'm David. What was it like when you first heard about coronavirus in Taiwan?
I don't think it's a problem for us. Yeah, because I don't know, because I think we are safe here.
In Taiwan, the alarm bells started ringing early, long before Canada and others reacted.
They handled it really well. They check your temperature everywhere. They ask you politely to wear a mask.
Back in January, the island's war against COVID was already mobilized.
We tried to stop the flights from China very early on when the case in Wuhan seems to be going out of hand. We stopped the export of masks, and then we start rationing, and then we increase our production.
Taiwan's foreign minister is in demand, taking panic calls from other countries, asking how Taiwan did it.
I don't think Canada is as late as the United States. As we see the cases shooting up very rapidly, we do worry about the United States.
How a people so close to the epicenter could have avoided the worst so far.
No, it's not over, and we are not reaching the peak yet.
Investigators confirmed at least 41 people are sick with the mysterious new virus.
Joseph Wu explains when suspicious cases popped up in China labeled as pneumonia, Taiwan deployed a task force to investigate firsthand.
When they returned, they told the key health officials that China was trying to hide something, and therefore we got nervous.
Weeks later, businesses are still open with precautions. At some restaurants, the hostess takes every diner's temperature. And along with the menu, a bottle of hand sanitizer. Canada has about 7 times more cases than Taiwan, despite being so close to China. So, have we done anything wrong? And what do we need to do now? All right, time to Skype. A lot of people are talking about anxiety level. How are you feeling?
As a parent, I'm really trying to stay grounded, because if I let myself go too far ahead in my thinking, I do feel the anxiety creep up.
Louise Gleason is social distancing at home with her husband and 4 kids in Oakville, Ontario.
I'm kind of wearing a lot of hats right now, and by 10 o'clock at night, I feel the weight of them.
Let me ask you about your parents. Yeah.
I am dropping some fresher food off for them and talking to them through the window. It's been hard to see me pull out of the driveway without coming in. I get quite emotional I'm going to get emotional every time I pull away, but I'm so grateful that they're down the street.
Have you had trouble getting the things you need at the grocery store?
So I was stockpiled and ready to go 2-3 weeks ago. And I did the same for my parents. The videos of the empty shelves, they can really just get you going and get you panicked, right? They make you feel like you need to rush out and look for that one store that has bread.
But it's not just bread. Hand sanitizer, disinfectant, and face masks have disappeared. In Taiwan, the government stepped in, requiring factories to make supplies like sanitizers and face masks rapidly.
We got plenty of food, toilet papers, plenty of alcohol, and we still have hand sanitizer, so everything is fine.
In Taipei, Dad Terry, Mom Laylee, and daughter Peggy can buy what they need. No problem. Can I just show you some pictures from our grocery stores here? That's toilet paper.
Toilet paper, okay.
Yeah. I think that is pasta, like spaghetti.
Okay.
Yeah, those are some things on shelves, but mostly they've gone. Did it ever look like that in your stores?
No.
To stop panic buying, there are some restrictions. The disinfectant things to clean the counters. You never had a problem finding those?
Our government announced that you can go buy only one, then you can use at home.
So the government put limits on it and said, you can buy it, but only one per family.
Yes, per family or not per person. So one person can buy one. So I don't think it's a problem for us. Yeah, but you just need to go there and line up for a long time.
Oh, you do have to line up, okay. And who does that? Do you do that, or do you make your husband do that?
Of course, not me.
Not you. We'll have more Inside Taiwan coming soon, including how they keep their kids safe at school during this pandemic. Meantime, in Canada, could Canadian supermarkets have acted sooner?
Panic buying.
Excuse me, sorry.
In the wake of the coronavirus crisis. This is the aftermath. So we're at a local Walmart here. We're in the toilet paper section, and as expected, the shelves are empty. Cleaning supplies, gone too. Limited canned goods. You're telling us what you need, but can't find.
I wanted potatoes, didn't see any. I wanted the eggs, didn't see any.
I just want you to know we're trying to keep our distance. We're trying to adhere to the social distancing rules in this time of crisis. You just put some groceries in the back of your car. What did you get?
I got a few things like bread, some pasta, milk, cheese.
The major items like paper towels, napkins, soap, etc. It's not here.
Were you able to find everything you needed?
No.
You were just inside that store. What did you find?
People have gone insane buying everything on the shelf.
No kidding. Look at this Sobeys. Rabba. And check out this Loblaws. No bread, no meat, no milk. And what about the stuff people see as essentials as we deal with this pandemic?
I have no toilet paper in my house. We're on Kleenex and no meats, but I can turn vegetarian for the time being.
All the cleaning products, like the Lysols, the Royales, they're all out of stock.
What about sanitizer?
No sanitizer anywhere.
Do you have enough at home?
No, I don't have any. It ran out.
On social media, stores are assuring Canadians there's no shortage of supplies, and they're restocking as fast as they can. But this shopper argues it's not fast enough.
I went into the grocery store last week, and it looks exactly the same this week as it did last week.
But why are people panic buying in the first place?
If you speak with people after they've come out of the grocery stores with all of their purchases, and you ask them, well, why did you buy so much? Sometimes they say, I don't know, I did it because everyone else was doing it. And so this whole thing snowballs.
As Dr. Stephen Taylor tells our producer, it's FOMO, fear of missing out.
Fear is contagious. We see some people overbuying, and that leads people to worry that they've not purchased enough and worry about scarcity. So more people start buying.
We ask him, what more could retailers do?
It gets down to the fact that if people can't behave like adults, then the government will step in and be the parent. It could look like government setting limits on what people can buy as a potential scenario.
Russ Stahlberg agrees. He's experienced the pandemic panic firsthand. Describe what you saw.
People that were scared, people that were frightened. I saw 2 fights, 2 scuffles. I had to break one of them up.
Wow. What went through your mind when you were witnessing this?
I've seen a lot of panic shopping, and it's unnecessary.
What do you think should be happening?
I think they should be limiting essential items like they do during a sale. I think they should be limiting water, toilet paper, hand sanitizer, the sanitary wipes to control the panic shopping.
And that's the one message that's coming through loud and clear with these shoppers.
Keep everybody at a limit.
They should be limiting quantities of things. Put a limit on toilet paper, put a limit on milk, put a limit on eggs, put a limit on things that are gonna go bad that everybody is gonna need. How bad really is this situation?
Countries like Taiwan stepped up early on to avoid panic buying. But in Canada, we've seen shelves like this for weeks. You've got a lot of questions, and we're going to get some answers from the Retail Council of Canada. Sebastian, nice to meet you.
Hi there, Asha.
Of course, we're not going to shake hands.
Yes, yeah.
Sebastian Prince is the Director of Government Relations for the RCC in Ontario. The industry group represents major grocery retailers like Walmart, Sobeys, Loblaws, and Metro.
Well, there are stores that have limits for sales.
Mm-hmm.
Why not make a limit here?
Mm-hmm.
This is an unprecedented time.
I can certainly agree. It's an unprecedented time. This has been quite an uptick in sales.
But shouldn't members be ready for that? I mean, we've been hearing about the coronavirus crisis for weeks now.
When it comes to supply chains, that there is no shortage. So I know that folks have been seeing empty store shelves, and that has customers worried.
And those customers are looking for an explanation.
We're like going to the grocery store every couple days and there's still nothing there.
What would you like to tell them?
They need to do something to get it on the shelves.
Prince says the grocery chains have the products. The challenge, getting them into the stores.
We have ample supply in our distribution centers. The trouble is we've seen a huge spike in sales, and getting those goods from the distribution centers to the storefront, that's where the problem's been lying right now. A lot of retail members have assured me that they're starting to catch up.
I gotta tell you, playing catch up doesn't really seem to be working from what we're being told. No meat, no dairy, no milk, no bread.
And what I can do to reassure you is I know, my members know that there is ample supply, food, canned goods, all the essential items like toilet paper that you've been seeing empty from store shelves. We have ample supply in our distribution centers.
I know you say that, but the ample supply is not making its way to the people at home. There's a gap.
How we've been trying to kind of handle that. We've been trying to work with governments. We need kind of broader solutions to help support the movement of goods.
One solution? Ontario will now allow food delivery trucks to bypass noise restrictions so they can work round the clock to stock stores.
Why not institute a limit for all of your members, especially for the essentials?
Mm-hmm. That's something that individual brands need to make store-by-store decisions based on. That's not a place where RCC is looking to weigh in.
All eyes are on you. You represent the big grocery chains in Canada. What message do you have for Canadians who are really worried about not getting the essentials?
Yeah, I encourage citizens to kind of remain calm, and as you're going about and purchasing, please be conscious of other consumers who are also looking to buy goods.
You're working on it.
We're working on it.
Just a day after this interview, Costco sent an email to its members. Limits have been implemented on certain items. Some others have done the same. And Health Canada has now put out this note, lifting the need for bilingual labels to open the supply chain for essentials. In the meantime, these shoppers are doing their own part to make sure we all have what we need.
I think people really need to sort of step up and share with each other. I tapped on a few doors before I left to see if any of my elderly neighbors needed anything.
You don't have to go crazy. Just pick up what you need.
And remember to look out for store employees who can't work from home. Be kind from a distance.
I think the folks who are helping us out in the grocery stores really need our kindness right now.
This special edition of Marketplace continues.
We're putting Ramshanker's patience to the test. Or Air Canada Vacations is.
We booked a one-week trip for the March break with Air Canada Vacations to Mexico.
Ram's travel plans have now been grounded by the pandemic.
Thank you for calling the customer care department at Air Canada Vacations.
And this lawyer from Port Elgin, Ontario, can't get his money back or anyone on the phone to talk about it.
My request to Air Canada Vacations is please return the money. It has become so essential, I've had to lay off staff. We need that money now.
Thousands of Canadians are making the same plea. With the world's borders closing, travel banned, and flights suspended, they just want a refund.
My family and I booked a trip to Cuba last December for March break with Air Transat using Trip Central before we'd ever heard of COVID-19.
Sandra Lavoie from Ottawa decided to cancel Cuba with international travel too risky. She was told she'd lose all her money, but she canceled anyway.
Shame on you, Air Transat, for making us choose our family's safety over our money. Have compassion and issue us a full refund.
The world's airlines, after all, are starting to ask for billions in bailouts from governments, though most of them don't want to give any cash to their customers, only credit. And only credit that's good for a limited time, with fewer flights to choose from.
One of two things: either get the service that I paid for, or get a full refund.
Nick Nicolaitis is from Montreal and supposed to be on a round trip to Athens soon. But Air Canada has changed his ticket to a one-way flight to London, not even the same country, and with no return.
We should not have to pay for a service that we didn't get. I hired Air Canada to provide a service to me. I'm sure other people did that. And since they can't provide the service for unforeseen circumstances, it doesn't matter. They should just give the money back, and we can all move on through these difficult times.
Time to call up an air passenger rights advocate. Gabor Lukács has helped rewrite the rules for passenger rights in Canada, and he says the airlines are clearly breaking them.
When your flight is cancelled, you have to get a refund to your original form of payment. Airlines have been skirting their obligation to provide refunds.
Lukács says the government has the power to order refunds.
We reached out to the federal transport minister and all the major airlines asking about their refund policies. Here's what some of them had to say.
A spokesperson for the transport minister says government is actively monitoring the situation, working with airlines, and may announce additional measures. Air Canada, WestJet, Air Transat, and Sunwing are only offering a credit for future travel with time restrictions. Porter says, for the most part, it's offering refunds to customers who ask. Otherwise, it's credit too. Online, some Canadians are reporting refund success, though it's all anecdotal. A woman named Shannon says when WestJet offered her credit or rebooking, she said she knew her rights as a passenger and was given a full refund. Gabor Lukács says the key is persistence, and he offers these tips. Record your phone calls. It's legal in Canada. Keep good records, including screenshots and emails. Read up on your rights. Don't take no for an answer. And ask to speak with a supervisor. Ultimately, if all else fails, sue.
I would say first, passengers should try to get a refund through the airline. Then they should try to get a refund through the credit cards. And if it doesn't work, then I would sue both the airline and the credit card company.
Sound advice for any of us, including 3 Canadians who listened to the warnings about non-essential travel and are now learning the cost of doing the right thing.
This special edition of Marketplace continues.
While some of us are staying home, others are hitting the streets.
We are the front lines. It's quite busy with all the panic buying, as you can imagine.
And demand for home deliveries is up. UPS employs 12,000 Canadians, many of them drivers. But some worry that the company isn't doing enough to keep them or the public safe.
No latex gloves, no Lysol stations in the building. They're not sanitizing the trucks every night. They're doing absolutely nothing to help stop us from getting infected.
How many people are you coming in contact with every day?
I'm still seeing maybe 40 to 50 different people every single day, which that has me scared, because then I can bring it home, bring it back to the building, infect others, and this is how this thing spreads.
This driver is scared of losing his job, so we agree to hide his identity.
Do I pick money or do I pick my health?
And he's not alone. Over the phone, we hear the same from other UPS drivers.
I feel personally that it's all about money to UPS, and unfortunately, it's on the backs of their frontline workers and their health.
Some drivers even buying their own supplies to protect themselves and customers.
If you're not going to set up precautions to keep me safe, I'm going to keep myself safe and my family safe.
We ask UPS Canada to respond. They tell us vehicles are cleaned and disinfected daily, and that drivers can use UPS facilities or the washrooms of customers to wash their hands or freshen up.
We share that with the drivers, and they say it doesn't matter if there's soap in the warehouse when they spend most of the time on the road. And one of them says some businesses are reluctant to let them in, and he would never ask to use the washroom in someone's home.
Do something to show that you guys care about your frontline workers.
Many of us are working from home during this pandemic, but we're still on the case. Send us your stories. Marketplace@cbc.ca. We've always got your back. Stream our episodes anytime by downloading the CBC Gem app.